You're not a cop. You're an actor.
Thank you, Janet. You keep me real.
Should we take this Beetlejuice into protective custody?
If you can find him.
First of all, I want you two kids to know this is a safe space, okay? Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid. I sense there's an enabler here, but we'll get to that. Look, dig deep and spill your guts, okay? Who wants to go first?
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're here to end our mini retrospective of Beetlejuice with Beetlejuice.
The second one has done very well for them.
Oh, it made $500 million, I think.
Yeah.
And it's his number 3 highest grossing film of all time.
Right.
To Burton.
Right.
Next to Batman. And what was that big fucking movie he did?
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
But this is like number 3, so they kind of have to, right? You got to end it with the third Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
and if that does well, they'll probably do a fourth, or we'll even get, I hope they don't sell out and they give us some sort of Disney Plus TV series or something, because then it will be toned down. Did you know there was also a Beetlejuice cartoon back in the 80s?
Well, everyone knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was stupid.
I can't really remember. I know of it, but I can't really remember actually sitting down and watching it. I don't even know if we got it here in the UK. I could be wrong.
No, it was out for a while.
Who did the voice of Beetlejuice in it?
What?
Was it Keaton that did the voice of him?
No, God, no.
Right, yeah.
Some other idiot.
Right.
Some idiot who probably does all the Transformers voices.
Right. I do know there was a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure spin-off TV series. I've seen clips of it on YouTube, and whoa, with 2 different actors instead of Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, and whoa, and no George Carlin either. Yeah. From what I've seen of it, ropey stuff, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I never, especially if Keaton wasn't back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you start here? I mean, 36 years later. They were always talking about tackling Beetlejuice for a long time. And, I was thinking, 36, can you really do a sequel? 30 fucking 6 years later. Now, I'm not talking franchises that have been going through the years.
Yeah, like James Bond.
Yeah. I'm talking a film that literally had a one-off back in 1988, and you revisit it back in 2024. It's like, I don't know if it's just going to work.
I think there was talk of it for many years, like you said, but it was sort of one of those ones where it was sort of stuck in development hell, and, it came to constant sort of dead ends, but eventually we've now got it.
Well, I think they knew when to put it out. They were smart. Jenny Ortega is quite popular thanks to Wednesday. He's real popular right now, the TV show.
Yes.
That Addams Family resurgence kind of feel, and and Beetlejuice does have that Munsters Addams Family vibe to it a little bit. So it made sense to get it out. Michael Keaton's on another resurge.
Winona Ryder with Stranger Things, of course.
Yeah, Winona Ryder, and then. Well, we'll dive into the cast.
I would say as well that there is a big, and there has been for quite a few years now, to say the least, quite a big sort of resurgence of 80s nostalgia. And I grew up in the 80s, and I have 80s nostalgia, but it's being overdone, pure overkill with the 80s nostalgia, especially with shows like Stranger Things, which I'm not a fan of. And, we had that Wonder Woman 1984, and there's loads of other stuff. It just feels very cynical and inauthentic to me. It's just like, studio suits sitting around a table saying, yeah, there's a big market for 80s nostalgia. All these people that are now in their, 30s and 40s and 50s.
That's not true. That's not
true. That is.
They
fucking know.
Fuck off. Stranger Things was created by 2 gentlemen who wrote it and got it out themselves.
But it was commissioned.
Was not a big studio.
But it was commissioned by Netflix.
You got to stop hiding behind, it's all producer's fault. Stranger Things that was independently written, and they got it produced. That is not. That is a fan service show, but it's not no nostalgic ripoff piece of shit.
Well, I'm talking more about with films with the likes of this Wonder Woman 84, and it's just like there's way too... I even bring it
Well, that
back
was just a piece of
franchises.
shit.
Bringing back franchises, like from the 70s and 80s, like Star Wars and stuff. It's just, you just know that these suits are sitting around saying, we're going to milk this nostalgia to death. Stranger Things, whatever, each to their own if people like it. But I have seen it all so far, every single episode, and the 80s nostalgia overkill really sort of jars. It interferes with the storytelling, actually. So it does. And I hate the fucking kids in it.
You're clueless. You're a clueless twat. We all know that. All of our listeners said that.
Well, I'm getting abused.
They said, where's the clueless twat? Is the clueless twat going to be on today?
Well, so I'm getting abused because I don't like a TV series, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because for the wrong reasons.
No. I have other reasons. Trust me, I have a long list of reasons, but that's one of them.
Oh, here we go. I don't want to hear it. But you know why?
Because it's not a Stranger
there's no
Things
fucking-
podcast.
There's no naked old people and tree fucking in it. You fucking, I don't want this shit. This is not elevated for me. I don't want this.
Look, we've already had this discussion about elevated horror,
Yeah.
but I'm just not I see through Stranger Things.
I see through Stranger Things. Listen to you.
It is 80s nostalgia for people who weren't even born in the 80s. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's just...
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that.
But they milk it to death.
And every decade always comes back.
I know that.
Always.
But that's
in the 90s,
cynical.
it was the 70s. You always have a resurgence of a
that.
decade.
But this is inauthentic.
And fuck up. You're analyzing you're analyzing process for films. It's just fucking, it's just ludicrous. It's just
Nope.
I don't get it.
Nope.
I don't get it.
I
don't.
I know
get
what
it.
I know what I see, and it's overkill. But you know who does nostalgia greatly? Does it right? Ty West.
Okay, let's move on. I don't know how he got this right. I don't have time for you right now.
Let's talk about
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I was saying, get him over here and kick your ass.
Although, surprisingly, despite everything I've just said, we'll get to it, Beetlejuice, but I might have an opinion that you might not expect on it. Let's just say, after everything I just said there.
Yeah, so in other words, you liked it.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the only way. That's the only direction you can
Exactly.
Because if you say it's a piece of shit, then you're just sticking what you just said.
I might just say that just to piss you off, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be honest, as I always am.
Yeah, you're just a pathological liar.
No.
That's your problem. That's your problem.
I'm too honest.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah, right.
Beetlejuice.
Bring the Candyman
Let's
back
get to the movie
instead.
now.
Say his name 3 times.
let's get back to
Go for it.
Beetlejuice here. Fucking hell! You always ruin the podcast with your stupid comments. I can't wait for Squid Game 2. Yeah, come on, Netflix.
When's that coming out?
January?
I enjoyed it, the first series, and I must admit,
No, I can't wait.
yeah, although not original, of course, but I enjoyed it.
Here we go.
No, I enjoyed it.
Oh, fuck me. Here we go.
I liked it for what it was. Yeah,
Okay. Tim Burton.
so anyway,
Yeah, 36 years. Kind of smart by them doing this. Jenny Ortega's hot from Wednesday. You got Michael Keaton, who's on a resurge. You've got Winona Ryder from Stranger Things. And then you pepper in Justin Theroux, who's very great comedic timing. The wonderful, who steals the movie, Willem Dafoe.
yeah,
Even got Burn Gorman, who's kind of a creepy kind of guy. He plays Father Damien.
Burn Gorman. Yes, and of course you know where Burn Gorman is more famous for, don't you?
Oh, dear God, I don't want to know.
Oh, you do want to know, and even if you don't, I'm going to tell you. Doctor Who. He starred in Torchwood,
me.
the Doctor Who spin-off series with John Barrowman, which was big in the sort of mid-2000s. Yeah, he was one of the main cast. He was actually killed off after the second series.
We talked about this with Beetlejuice, and I'm going to explain this, and I know no one's going to interrupt me when I'm doing this. Right.
Well, it depends. It depends on what you say. But yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, don't. No, okay. I didn't think you would actually answer that. Fuck me. So, the first thing this film gets right is the continuity. And the reason I say that, we talked about this when you had Barbara and Adam, the two main kind of characters for Beetlejuice. They were more of the they were the side characters to me. They didn't really add value to the film, where the supporting cast, Jeffrey Jones, Raoul Goulet, Dick Cavett, all brought something, and his name is escaping me. Shaddix,
Yes.
who played
Yes.
Otho. They had all these Glenn Shayx. Sorry, I kept butchering that, and I apologize. But they all brought more to it. The supporting cast made that film. And so now you need to replace Jeffrey Jones, who played Charles. You need to replace Glenn Shayx, who played Otho. You got to replace Dick Cavett, who played the agent. You got to replace Raoul Goulet and Adam and Barbara. And they done it perfectly. So you still got the core who made Beetlejuice. You still have Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and you still have Catherine O'Hara as Delia. You got the key players back. All right. Then you throw in Danny DeVito, nice little cameo. Justin Theroux as Rory. Willem Dafoe as Wolf Jackson. Bern Gorman as Father
Isabella
Damien.
Rossellini.
And Monica Bellucci as...
Sorry, I just said Isabella Rossellini. I meant Monica Bellucci. My apologies.
So not only do you interrupt me, you interrupt me with wrong information to give to our listeners.
Sorry, yeah. My mistake.
What a horrible piece of crap. But you got Monica Bellucci, who plays Dolores, and then you've got the side story I actually really enjoyed, played by Arthur Conte. No, he plays Arthur Conte, right? No, Arthur Conte, he plays Jeremy Fraser. Or is it played by Jamie Fraser? He's Arthur. I can't remember which one it is. But he's the nice little red herring in it. So, yeah, you get all these other people coming in to replace the core that kind of helped Beetlejuice out. So, and you did it well.
Yes.
The characters they add, the actors they place to replace the other ones that we've lost, nail it out of the park. And quite frankly, they steal it, especially Justin Theroux and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Monica Bellucci is sadly underused, but she's very memorable in the scenes that she is in. She's sort of set up at first as the big bad, the main villain, but then she sort of disappears for way too long over the film. But yeah, this is great casting, and they're pretty excellent characters as well that they play.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe plays the hammy noir cop,
but he's an actor.
He's just
He's
an actor playing. Yeah, his name's Wolf Jackson, and he's famous for playing a character. We'll get to his moment in a second here, but again, it sticks with the original stuff. The opening credits, you got Danny Elfman's new version of the score, which I loved, and like the original, it's going over the town, seeing this little small area, and then it turns into the model
also good
that was featured.
It's also good to see Elfman back working with Burton, because I know they had a falling out over the years.
Well, no, he's been back with them for quite a while.
I know that there, but just it's good to see them sort of back working together.
Oh yeah,
generally.
Yeah, you can't. He left during Spider-Man 3, I think. He fired him or something. I can't remember what happened there. Or Spider-Man 2 or something like that.
Right, but those were directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, Sam Raimi. That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Danny Elfman's had falling off a couple of directors.
Yeah. So that actually makes up for my mistake with Monica Bellucci. So
no, because it wasn't a mistake. He was fired by Sam Raimi.
Yes, I know, but we're talking about Tim Burton, not Sam Raimi.
No, so?
Yeah.
So, doesn't matter. They're both.
Oh, so I can admit my mistake, but you're so arrogant you can't? Right.
Fucking right. You fucking right. Beetlejuice. Do you know who produced this?
Who?
Brad Pitt.
Yes, I heard
that.
He
produced it.
Yes, I heard that somewhere along the line.
So he must have been...
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have really helped try to get this funded, because he must have been a fan.
Yeah.
He must have been.
Or maybe he was just one of these, he's become one of these suits that was just looking to milk the 80s nostalgia.
No, Brad Pitt's
I'm joking.
I know you're bullshit now.
I'm joking.
No, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I like Brad Pitt. Always have done.
Yeah. I always like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I like him. He's like a grounded guy.
And a very good actor.
I just picked up World War Z director's cut on 4K.
Yeah. I've always liked
I'm
Pitt,
excited.
And a very good and underrated actor. I know he's been nominated for Oscars, won an Oscar actually, but back in the day he was always considered just a pretty boy, but I always rated him as an actor as well, and like 12 Monkeys and stuff.
Yeah, I think he got the Oscar for 12 Monkeys, didn't he?
I think he was nominated, but he won the one recently for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I believe, for supporting actor.
Yeah. Which is funny, because he was just playing himself in that one.
Yeah.
I liked him in Seven. It's kind of where I started liking him.
Also, True Romance as a stoner.
Yeah.
Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah. That was before Brad Pitt became Brad Pitt, though.
Yeah.
So, back to Beetlejuice. Next time in the life of Brad Pitt
Yeah.
on Citizen Frame. I love what they're going with this. Lydia is the host of Ghost House, and she's a psychic medium.
Well, there's a big-
but she's not a fraud.
Yeah.
She actually does see dead people. And what I liked about this, and I don't know if they're going that route, but she's not really cheating them. She actually does see these ghosts.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Michael J. Fox's character in The Frighteners.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
it's also a sort of reference to the likes of Vampira, but also Elvira, who came after, and Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, and Paul Rubens, and Tim Burton, Danny Elfman. They were all part of this sort of group back in the 80s when they all started off. So I like that it's a sort of nod to like Vampira and Elvira with her job as this sort of TV host.
Yeah, and she's still kind of lost, the character. Yeah, so they keep Lydia pretty true to the character she was when we left her in Beetlejuice. And she was probably finding her niche because she's obviously, we find out she has a daughter, but she loses
Her husband.
her husband to Piranha. And she's got kind of a falling out with Delia.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Jeffrey Jones' character dies in a plane crash, but not by the plane crash. He gets actually eaten by a shark. And clever enough, they do it with claymation because sadly, they can't bring the actor back.
Yeah, due
Jeffrey
to
Jones.
his taking photos of an underage boy. But here's the thing: a lot of people, they didn't want to recast him because, obviously of his sort of sex crimes, basically. But he will still get royalties from this film because they use his image, so they do several times actually. On the gravestone and stuff, but that's sort of beside the point. But I thought it was actually just stupid, this whole convoluted, having him being ate by a shark. They should have just had him die between films.
Yeah, they should have not written him in.
Yes, I agree.
They did the same thing with Adam and Barbara.
Yeah.
And
they're a one-line fix here.
Yeah, well, do you see Tim Burton wink to the audience when he did that?
Yeah.
See, he's very clever. When he has to kind of cheat, he lets the audience know he's cheating.
Yeah, no doing a wink.
And I think that works because they make the comment, "Where's Adam and Barbara?" Well, they went back. They crossed the other side. And I go, well, I thought they had to wait like 200 years. Oh, they found a loophole.
Yeah.
and then Astrid says, "Well, that's convenient."
Yeah, yeah. I would say, I know Jenna Ortega has been typecast basically very early in her career as the whole goth girl, just like Winona was back for a bit back in the 80s and early 90s. But Jenna Ortega is a really good actress. She's very, very good.
Yeah, but she's still playing. You can't.
Yes, she hasn't branched out.
I know, but you got to realize she's done nothing different.
Yeah, yeah. That's a fair point. But
so you can't until she has more range. She's she's playing.
But what she does well. And yes, it's become a cliche. I agree. But she sells it.
I do like Danny DeVito's little cameo.
Yes.
I do like the kind of the Dolores thing. I like when and I love how for some reason, Tim Burton loves the 70s because there's a lot of 70s music and disco.
Oh, yeah.
For actually
Soul Train and stuff.
And it's because of the Soul Train, and that's very 70s in the States. Soul Train, the dance show. So that's why he's using a lot of disco. Like Tragedy is playing with the Bee Gees as she's coming together and she's stapling herself. Pretty cool little effects.
It's a good scene.
Kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it sets her up as this great sort of villain, which isn't properly sort of, well, you just don't see enough of her, actually. I love the backstory that we see coming up soon of her and Beetlejuice, first meeting back during the Black Plague.
Yeah, we'll jump into that one in a moment. Yeah, the character is introduced, and she's a soul sucker, pretty much is what she's doing.
Yes,
and that's how she takes out her victims, and she does that with Danny here. Nice little cameo of Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go back. So when they go, Astrid, they have to go. Astrid's pretty much at their fucking same school she is Wednesday.
Yeah, it is exactly the same school. Yeah.
It probably is.
Oh, no, sorry, I meant it's the exact same school that Lydia went to, actually, in the original.
Oh, okay, but it almost looks like the school that Wednesday is going to in the Addams Family.
Possibly.
Yeah, which, Tim Burton's probably filming both scenes. He's doing the same character. But, yeah, they set her up. This whole scene where she's stapling herself, putting her body back together during Tragedy and sucking the soul out of Danny DeVito. yeah, you're setting her up to play the big villain here, and she really isn't.
No.
To me, the big villain is kind of Rory, Justin Theroux's character.
He's actually excellent in this.
And he is very funny. And Beetlejuice, those are the two. I think there's one scene with her that it's one of my funniest scenes, and we'll get to it. And it is. I want it in the film, but I didn't want her in the film because nothing against her. It's just doesn't make any. Why is she here?
Yes,
really don't need her. But the scene you mentioned is the flashback and it's so fucking hilarious how Beetlejuice tells the story, and he does it in French. What the fuck
in
does that
Italian?
mean?
It's in Italian.
Oh, it's Italian? Okay, so it's Italian, and it's black and white, and it's so campy and silly. I was like, why is he talking this in Italian? And
well, because he's
subtitles
Italian, and so is she. You know, that's their backstory.
I know, but come on, it just comes out of nowhere.
But also, it's also
he goes, I was a humble grave robber.
But also, it's an homage to Mario Bava, who was actually referenced in other scenes as well. And, you know, the whole Black Sunday and stuff. It has a sort of Black Sunday sort of vibe about it and all that sort of thing. I think it's a brilliant scene.
Because we're introduced to Beetlejuice when he's telling the story of how he met his wife and how she's the one who killed him.
Yes.
In real life. Mm-hmm. But before he dies, he chops her up in little pieces.
Yes.
Yeah, it almost had like a Sweeney Todd vibe to it.
Oh, yeah.
But so there's a murderer going around of people, soul sucker. And then here's where we meet Wolf Jackson. Willem Dafoe, fucking fun. He plays this, and the great thing about Dafoe, he plays it like he's gonna get the Oscar. He's like really gonna go all in, and he's famous for a character called Frank Hardballer.
Yeah, that's right. The cop he plays, but then he's died, but he still thinks he is this sort of fictional cop. Yeah, but you know, Dafoe's Dafoe. Dafoe is a sort of scene stealer, you know, a film stealer. He's always going to be. Yeah, he's always. Yeah, he's that guy. Because he died. He died doing a stunt. That's right. That's what happened. That's why half his head's missing, or you know, it's like his brain's exposed. Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny. It's not even good. It's like so cartoonish. Totally. The brain. Yeah. You know, it's not even grotesque. Yeah. And every time he's always looking at the camera, like he's narrating it for us. Oh yeah, it's just like God. Anytime him or Justin Theroux are on the scene, I just have a good laugh. And Justin Theroux is brilliant playing that sort of. You just know he's a sleazeball, you know. And later on during the wedding scene, whenever it all comes out, when Beetlejuice injects him with the truth serum, you know what I mean? It's payback, like. But you just know he's such an asshole. But he's really good at playing that sort of creep, that fraud, you know. Yeah, you knew right away that Rory was scumbag. Oh, yeah, but he's pretending to be like a modern man, you know, all this hair, you know, he's talking about. Yeah. But he's talking about his grandfather, Dan. He goes, that was 40 years ago. He goes, I know, but but my child heart, I still have my child heart. I'm still living, you know, as a child, you know, and he's pretending to be in touch with his emotions and stuff, but he's basically a complete fraud and a creep. Yeah, the child in me just sees it as yesterday. Yes, exactly. Or something like that. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, so Dolores wants to go back and get Beetlejuice because she's part of this soul seeker death cult. Yeah, yeah. Stupid like that. She wants revenge on him as well. Yeah. She pretty much at this point just wants revenge. Yeah. For chopping her up. A silly side story, but subplot. But I do like. I think what they should have done was write her out, Dolores, and ask Monica Bellucci, would she come in as a cameo, and we can learn how Beetlejuice died. Or even... And just have that as a flashback. Or even... But we didn't need her to come out to get revenge. Or even have her as a cameo, maybe towards the end, setting her up as the big bad villain for a third one. You know? That would have worked, I think. Maybe she comes back to marry him, and he's happy at the end. Well... The problem with this film overall, and I do really like this film. I've enjoyed it both times I've watched it quite a lot. But the problem is there is way too much going on. I mean, with all this stuff with Jenna Ortega and, you know, her boyfriend who's a ghost, but Arthur. Yeah. Arthur. Yeah. But I love that side story. Yeah. That is the best. I would have been happy with just the Rory story and the Arthur story. It's pretty dark. He's basically murdered his mom and dad. So he has. Yeah. I know, basically, he has murdered them.
And I didn't catch that. I did not see that.
I'm going to be honest, the first time I watched
here
it.
we go.
No, I didn't, but I knew there was something up with him, but it didn't quite. And then whenever it's revealed that he's a ghost, I was like, oh, of course, sort of kicked myself, I knew something was up, but it didn't quite 100% know exactly what they were going to hit us with.
When Wolf Jackson is investigating, I could have watched. I want a Wolf Jackson spinoff.
Yeah.
So when Wolf Jackson is investigating, and he's I think he's at the dry cleaners at this point.
Yes,
he goes to dry cleaner, and there's cases like this that make me wonder why I became a cop.
Yeah, well, it's a whole story.
But it's the way he says it.
Yeah.
And it's done in that old 50s noir kind of Humphrey Bogart.
Totally. Yeah, that's it. He's this sort of long-suffering, hard-drinking, chain-smoking, sort of, tortured soul of a cop. I've seen way too much, in these streets,
Yeah, because he goes, cases like this and make me wonder why I became a cop.
Yeah.
And Janice, his assistant, goes, "You're not a cop.
You're an
actor." and then he goes, "Thanks, Janice. You keep me real."
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah. And she has the prompts and all for him. Whenever he's giving his speech, to, the other cops that are under him, she has, the prompts for him, to read off the script, basically,
It's great. And then he what he is? He plays the role with such conviction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's playing it dead straight.
It's wonderful.
He's not playing it for laughs. Defoe, he's playing it dead, and that's what makes it funny. Defoe knows what he's doing.
Now, when Rory and Lydia go see Beetlejuice,
yes,
and he's in the office, I'm here to pour my guts out, and he pours. It's kind of creepy scene because he impregnates.
Yeah. Oh well,
Lydia with a baby of him.
I love the baby. So do baby Beetlejuice. It's just so gruesome.
Yeah, because the baby it pops out of Lydia, then starts nibbling on her leg.
Yep.
And Beetlejuice goes, he's a leg man, just like his old man.
Well, one thing I like about this is that didn't tone Beetlejuice down. He's still a sort of sleazeball and an asshole,
they actually upped the game.
Yeah.
In this one.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. Yeah, there's nothing. This is not PC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Quite ballsy in some
they
of the
keep true to the character, so they do. Which is a relief, because it could have been, toned down nonsense, and that would have been basically a dishonor to the original.
I didn't like the Delia thing with the asps. Thought that was stupid.
Yeah, again, that was something that they could easily have lost. That stuff with the snakes and her. She doesn't even have to die. I know that sort of resolved with her eventually, sort of then, basically meeting the Jeffrey Jones character again, in the afterlife. That's her sort of character arc.
Well, it would have been better if it was a self-sacrifice from Beetlejuice or somebody who Monica gets her while trying to save Lydia. Give her an arc that way.
This stuff with the
because
snakes
she's always been kind of selfish.
Yeah.
So if you gave her that death and that meant something.
Yeah.
But this whole I forgot they didn't defang the asps.
Stupid and pointless. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was one of the things they could have lost with this film for sure.
I think because they were tackling so many subjects. I don't think they really know how to write these out.
The problem is we don't get enough time as the audience to enjoy or become properly invested in each of these plot lines because there are so many of them. So a lot of it sort of gets lost in the mix, and there is definitely a lot of it that could have been axed, especially the stuff with the snakes.
Or something different. Yeah, it just it just didn't make any sense.
Yes. Yeah, it was just a bit.
What?
And it definitely
when you got
out charged completely.
You've got continuity in this film, and it's doing it quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just comes off as lazy when you do something. What?
I would have preferred. I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed this, but I would have preferred something a bit more focused instead of this whole sort of manic jumping from storyline to storyline. But it does come across very manic, and you're like, well, so what? Where are what? And this sort of thing. where if they had it just maybe did it at a slower pace, focused on maybe just Lydia and the Ortega character, and also, with Beetlejuice and, the ex-wife, essentially, and just sort of stuck with those storylines, that would have, in my opinion, worked a lot better.
Jumping on one of the other storylines, I liked Arthur's, and I do like when
very dark.
He pretty much takes her vulnerability, uses her vulnerability.
Yeah, he tricks her.
Astrid's, to lure her to read from the handbook of the recently deceased.
Yeah.
And which I should have caught that right away. The minute he had that, that's only given to people who have just, recently died. And then she pretty much lures her.
He tricks her. He emotionally manipulates her
into opening the gateway to the afterlife.
He tells her that she'll be able to meet her dad, and that's the final sort of.
Yeah, he plays on that because she's so depressed.
Yeah.
With Lydia, she was depressed because she wasn't happy.
Yes.
She wasn't happy with her stepmother. She was just no friends.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. She was suicidal. With this one, she's a dark character, just like Lydia was. But this is more around her fact she lost her father.
Yeah. And also the fact that he also manipulates the fact that she now discovers that ghosts are real, because for years she thought her mum was a fraud. So he's playing on that as well. Plus he says, but if you go in there, the whole afterlife thing, you'll be able to meet your dad. But he's just looking to take it back to the real world, essentially. But but Beetlejuice has plans for him.
I like when Lydia finds out what's going on and she goes to get Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And, obviously Beetlejuice, you marry me.
Yeah.
And, we'll get this done. And I do like how they played out, because I didn't see it right away because they kind of do it real quick. There's how the chase scene happens. This whole manic chase scene from getting the passport. He wants the human passport to go back to life.
Yeah.
And then she'll be sent to whatever, the afterlife. And there's this chase with the Soul Train theme. And that's where you see the dad.
Yes.
And he's being eaten by piranha.
Yeah.
I love the makeup. It's so easy.
Yeah. The dad storyline as well isn't given enough time to breathe. Is not given enough time to breathe, pun intended, because there's.
I think it is, because it's the whole purpose of why Astrid's depressed. It's mentioned too many. It's mentioned quite a few times about the father, so I'm okay with that. If they even have the pictures, the flashback when she goes and looks at the pictures that Lydia had. I thought the father thing was okay.
Yes, but they did plant the seeds, and I agree with you. But at the same time, we aren't given enough, or even we don't even see enough of the dad for whenever the payoff happens, where she's reunited, when actually the three of them are reunited, along, with Lydia. I don't think there is enough emotional impact as an audience, because we're just not given enough, because we're jumping back and forward to other storylines.
So, no, I disagree with that. I do think they planted the seed plenty of times for the dad and him showing up. At the end of the day, this is a comedy.
No, I know you don't want too much. It's just I think we're definitely giving too little with that for it to be a proper payoff whenever they are reunited. But yes, obviously it's a horror comedy, and everybody just wants to see Beetlejuice being Beetlejuice. And in this case, Defoe and Monica Bellucci. But yeah, there is a lot going on.
I get that, but at the end of the day, you got to have a happy medium. At the end of the day, it's a horror comedy. So, and it's Beetlejuice. So they're not going to get
smug little shit,
it's not going to become some kind of.
Yes,
they're not going to romanticize this kind of film. I do like when don't he's going to get his passport stamped. Gets his passport stamped, and it's obviously Beetlejuice. And this is the line I was talking about. So, what's he say? I can't remember what he says. He says something like, I think that's what Tchaikovsky.
He's talking about
Dostoevsky says.
Dostoevsky. Because earlier in the film, how he sort of romanticizes or romances Astrid. They're talking about War and Peace, Dostoevsky, and then it's ironic. Then later on, when Beetlejuice sort of tricks him and quotes Dostoevsky back at him, it's like
because he goes. I think that's how Dostoevsky once said it.
Exactly.
Later, fucker.
Yeah. So it's like sort of, because he used Dostoevsky to impress Astrid, to get in there with her to manipulate her.
I was wondering why he used that
Yes,
name.
yes.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's clever. That's clever. But I just love it. I think he's Tusky. As you said later, fucker. Yeah. And then I thought this is more of what you might have been saying about tackling so much. This wedding scene, way too much is going on. Beetlejuice gives Rory the true serum. Let's end that story real quick. He'll spill his guts. Then you've got MacArthur Park, played by sung by Richard Harris, and they're all singing. Kind of funny, quite funny actually. Remember they did the scene with Beetlejuice when he sings Richard Marx right here waiting for you. That I was in the theater with my mom and I was crying laughing.
I was stitches at that as well. The Winona Ryder, but with
right here waiting for you. He's just
no, it's very funny. But yeah, the wedding scene, I did like the part whenever Beetlejuice takes over and injects Justin Theroux with a truth serum, but then all these social media influencers all addicted to their phones. Beetlejuice sort of basically magics them inside their phones, sucks them inside them. I liked that part, yeah.
And then they had the worms. And then when you have Dolores kicks open the door.
Yes, with the sandworm. Oh, sorry, yes, Dolores later, yeah.
Yeah, she kicks open the door and he goes, what the and they bleep him.
Do they? And I don't know. I think they didn't bleep him when I saw this in the cinema. But when I watched
you're wrong. They bleep him.
And streaming.
No, they did. They bleeped him.
Do they? Right.
It was deliberate.
Right.
They did bleep him.
Right.
They did that deliberately to go back to what I was saying about Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
You can only say the F word once.
Right.
So the reason they did that was he only said it once because he said,
it's like an end joke.
Later, fucker. It's an end joke.
Yeah.
So that's why that was bleeped.
Yeah.
And the other one wasn't.
But it's a great line, even though it is bleeped. And in fact, the bleeping almost makes it funnier,
Yeah.
He goes, what the fuck? But bleep. Yeah.
But poor Beetlejuice.
I love the sort of tie-up sort of scene at the end. The dream sequence.
Oh, God, that was creepy, actually.
With Lydia, yes. Yeah, and we were Astrid, they go to Castle Dracula and she meets a Dracula impersonator. She gives birth.
And then she has the baby, and then Astrid has the baby of baby Beetlejuice.
It's baby Beetlejuice. That's whenever it's like a dream, it's a nightmare. Just real. I think it was basically a two fingers up to Disney from Burton, which are also sort of referenced as well earlier on. There's a lot of sort of like two fingers up at Disney in this film. Well, there's a couple anyway. But I think that was, the whole dreamy, soft focus, happy ending. But it turns out it's actually a nightmare. And she gives birth to baby Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Yeah, you watch these films and you don't know how they're going to turn out, especially something like I mentioned so late in the game.
Yeah.
But unbelievably pleasantly surprised.
I enjoyed it a lot.
It boils down to casting.
Yeah.
I mean,
and performance.
Bringing on Theroux and bringing on Willem Dafoe was brilliant.
Yeah.
Those two were just scene stealers, even over Beetlejuice.
I think Keaton shades it just about, but yeah, they're great in it as well. Ortega's very good. Winona's still got it. You have Monica Bellucci as well. I would have lost all of the stuff with Charles and stuff. That was just stupid. He didn't need to be in this. They could have had just him written out with a one-line fix, died in between films or whatever.
Yeah, you had the Charles side story, and then you had the ass scene, which was stupid.
Yes.
Then you had Dolores, the whole thing, when you could just have her as a flashback, telling the story of how Beetlejuice died. That would have been funny, and you could have kept that black and white scene, which I thought was quite funny. Yeah. That would have been fine, but you didn't need this whole murder mystery. But again, if you didn't have that, then you wouldn't have Willem Dafoe.
I would have.
So you gotta have if you want Willem Dafoe, you gotta have the Dolores character.
Yeah, but you could have had Dafoe maybe just investigating Beetlejuice for, I don't know, trying to escape from the afterlife or something. I don't know. You still could have had him in some way.
When you talk about it, you can see why she's there. It doesn't kill the film. Obviously,
she's underused. I think she's very good in it and very memorable in it. She's just very underused, which is a bit of a waste. I would have maybe lost the subplot about Astrid's dad and just sort of
that makes no sense.
Well, you could still lose
the whole point of her character is because her dad's passing.
You could have had her being tricked for some other reason though by Arthur, but yeah. I mean, you know what the thing is. See what we're talking about. They're all actually really good ideas, But this film is 1 hour and 45 minutes, and there's just not enough room for them all to breathe.
Yeah, you had to remove one.
Yeah, at least.
But I think the Charles one should have been removed.
Definitely.
So,
Also,
but
hardest Charles talk whenever he's got no head.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Beetlejuice.
I know.
Oh, you know what, though? I was upset they killed Bob.
Yeah, Bob will come back, bud. I bet you Bob's back in the third one. He's too popular. And all the wee shrunken head guys
Bob.
running about the town was funny as well.
Yeah, Bob. There's a bunch of guys running around shrunken heads.
Yeah.
They run out of the house. Justin Theroux shit in his pants.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
See, one of the best scenes as well is whenever the kids are trick or treating just before this happens, and they call to Justin Theroux's house, and they basically rip him off for all his candy, and they go something like "fucking asshole." It's basically the kids say what everyone in the audience is thinking. It's just a small line, but it's just really funny.
Yeah, I'm very pleased the movie worked out. It's kind of like watching the new Indiana Jones. When I saw that, I was so pleased how it worked out for me, because you get so scared when they're going to a franchise you really like, or they're revisiting a movie that they saw years earlier, doing a sequel. So it's like maybe there's hope for a good Short Circuit sequel.
Well, with this, I would even. I don't know. I'm sort of torn. I would think maybe, obviously, the original is a classic, a much loved classic, but in terms of enjoyment factor, the second one shades it for me over the first.
See, that's the problem. You can kind of not see what you're saying, though, because you're saying they're tackling so many stories, and you're right about that. But the problem is, that's why you might like it more. You just don't know it, because the movie's so fast-paced and so nonstop because of all this chaos going on. That's one of the reasons you might like it over the original.
Possibly, yeah. I just think it could have been even better, just with maybe losing one or two things. But you know, the two times I've watched it, I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, they're both good. They're both solid outings. Yeah. And this is how you do a sequel to a film. You keep true to the source material, and then you implement new characters, and you do it a little differently. But they kind of kept the still visuals. They kept the afterlife the same.
Sandworms and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, they use the same kind of effects they used back in the 80s for those. So it really works.
Yeah.
They really did what a sequel should do. So there you go.
And
speaking of that, we're going to be talking about Smile too. And Smile I did not like at all, neither did you. But this new one, the director went 18 plus, and rumor has it the movie's fucking great and gory. So I will be talking about that one. So it'll be interesting to see what that does as a sequel. So there you go. That's all I've got.
Cool.
Anything you want to add?
Are you looking forward to the new season of Stranger Things, Ciaran?
Good. I'm looking forward to the new episode of Go Fuck Yourself. That's a good one. Yeah, like I said, we've been kind of busy here, so we're going to wrap this one up. We appreciate your patience with everything. Hope you enjoyed the Beetlejuices, and we'll be talking soon with Pete Atkins, screenwriter of Wishmaster, the Wes Craven 1996, I believe, produced horror movie, and that should be a fun one. Guys, give us a shout at CitizenFrame _podcast on Instagram, and of course, Facebook. That's all I've got. We'll chat soon. Take care of yourselves.